that we're all in the same universe, and hopefully there'll be more things down the road. But I think it's nice that they could have 3 different shows that, you know, we can have different people pop in on, and it's what it's doing is creating this big universe that, you know, allows everybody to live in and understand. I hope there's more crossover. You know, I got the Lindsay Wagon-Green. That was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, 2 minutes I got to meet her, it was great, and hopefully we'll have more down the road.
And Lindsay was lovely, just so you all know. She's like a sweetheart and so like beautiful. Just beautiful. She's a beautiful person.
Over there.
I have a question about Stargate Universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that the series kind of ended in a really easy way. Do you have any emergency?
Don't hold back, just like. We're all friends here.
Don't sugarcoat it.
I love this universe, but the ending kind of disappointed me. I didn't even watch it because I just couldn't handle ending it that way. Is there going to be a emergency about a movie or anything at all?
I mean, you know, we're all on the internet and we all read the blogs, I'm sure, so you hear things here and there. We've never heard anything official about it. And, you know, I thought, I didn't mind the ending of Stargate Universe. I don't think they knew at the time that it was going to be the end of the series, so you got to sympathize with them. It's a real challenge. They got to make it a season finale that could maybe be a series finale. I mean, that world of the showrunners and the writers must be very difficult not knowing. But, you know, it's no secret that we were disappointed by the fact that it didn't come back. It did very well on Space, thanks to the support of all of you. But Sci-Fi in the States didn't renew it, so it was a bummer, but...
And the property is really in the hands of MGM, and it seems like right now they're not planning on doing anything with it. I guess we can all hope that maybe in a few years' time they decide to reboot it to try and introduce a new audience. But being with Space, we have no connection to them other than the shows that we buy. So especially being on-air personalities, we are so low on the totem pole.
How low? We're actually lower than that.
Yeah, we're down somewhere below the stage, basically. So
Personalities might be generous. That might be generous.
But yeah, we really appreciated all your support for Stargate Universe and, you know, writing into inner space, so thank you. Next one.
Right there. Right there.
For a person like me, what's the process from getting here to becoming like a presenter of some on interspace or a show like that?
Ooh, that's a very different process for each one of us. I paid the producers. I sent them envelopes of money. Very little money. Why don't you start? Really quickly, child actor, did improv comedy up in Ottawa, then moved down here, went to Humber for their comedy program, did Second City training, which I highly recommend. Spent 2 years at YTV, for any of you who might remember that. And, you know, the opportunity to apply for Space Channel came up, and it sounded like the perfect gig, like my dream job. So I applied, and after a couple of auditions, fortune was smiling on me, and I got the job, and I get to do this sort of thing. Tell them about what you did in the audition, because you only told me this about a year ago, and I thought it was so, I've never thought of you as clever, but this made me, change my opinion. Sorry. I thought it was really good. Well, thank you. For my initial audition for Space Channel, I brought in a disassembled computer and all of its components, because I actually build computers. If anyone wants me to build them a computer, I will. No plugging on the panel. So I literally, as I described myself, I related myself to the components of the computer. Like, this is my hard drive where I store my vast knowledge of sci-fi trivia. This is the processor where I can process information and relay it to people. And, you know, this is SATA cable which connects the two, and this is the power supply because I'm full of energy.
How far did you get before they called security?
It was an outside auditioning company, so it wasn't Space Channel. They had no idea what I was talking about. I thought it was clever. I have a very strange trajectory. I was a child actor on a show called You Can't Do That on Television when I was but then I got away from it. I got into music and a bunch of other stuff, and ended up as a talent booker and later a producer at first the Comedy Network and then at MTV, where I worked on the show MTV Live. And I knew some people in Space just through the small world of Canadian production. They knew that I was a hard worker. Knows everyone, though. Yeah, I don't know about that. Again, it's the bribing. And they knew I was a big geek at the time. Battlestar Galactica was huge, so that was one of the shows on Space that I loved. And so they were doing a number of discussion panels. They brought me on as a guest for one, and then asked me to come back and guest host a few. And around that time, I started to hope, I'm like, are they scoping me for a job?
job. Oh, this could be good. And then I got the offer to be an on-air correspondent. So for our first year with the circuit, our weekly show that came before Interspace, I was a field reporter, and then when we launched Interspace, I got bumped up to sit next to this guy. And it was all downhill from there. So I got very lucky, but they knew I was into content. And so first and foremost, my advice would be, be into content, because at the end of the day, this is going to sound so pretentious, but a talk show is a canvas, and it's what you want to put on the canvas, and especially if you're working in our world of genre, you got to love content first and foremost. So, yeah, I got very lucky.
I won't bore you with lots of details, but I went to school for film and television, so I thought I wanted to be a screenwriter, and then I realized I was terrible, awful at it, and so I thumbed around, went to Europe, and then came back and went to Ryerson for radio and television arts, and, started out volunteering, interning, and, worked in a variety of shows, and my beat prior to this has been sexuality and love and relationships. That was sort of my passion, and, basically, in the last little while, I also kind of left, and they actually hired me, though, just to be a go-between, because these two they tend to fight a lot, so I need to sort of separate them and keep them out of being a little bit too creepy towards Robin. That's what I've been hired for. Yeah.
I just want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
So were you in part hired to analyze the strained friendship between AJ and
Well, I don't know if I'm at liberty to discuss that.
We got time for one more question, then we're going to do some giveaways. This lady right here in the nice costume with the hat, everyone's pointing at her around her. Yeah. You don't know them. They're strangers, but they're pointing.
Question for Robin. So one of the season 3 Sanctuary episodes,
Uh-oh.
it was Edmund. You did an Irish accent for like a fraction of a second.
Yes.
Do you actually know how to do that accent? Did you learn it for the show?
No, I know how to do that accent because I've heard it all my life from both of my parents.
Right now.
Hell yeah. Are you all right? Yeah. I don't know, without things without fucking know, you can't do an Dublin accent without saying fuck. I'm sorry. I know it's hurt, but you just can't. I'm sorry. I pull it back. And for and this is what I say to anyone who brings children to the set, and I'll say it here today. Any minors in here, don't say anything that you've heard me say, because I'm a very, very bad man.
I think we are. Oh, before we do the giveaway, we have a clip to play.
I think I know the clip you're referring to.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, I was at Comic-Con this year along with Robin here. We had a bit of an interaction on the press line for Sanctuary. It led to a bit of a challenge, and I think we should share this now, and we'll talk about it after. All right?
I'm already terrified. I am already terrified.